Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. When is Alpha 3.17 going to the wider PTU? Well, from what I've heard from Cloud Imperium, there's a rough goal of getting 3.17 out to first wave PTU Thursday or Friday if possible, but there are potential blockers with the patch. I was hoping it was going to be out already, but it's ready when it's ready. Cloud Imperium have, however, given us a patch watch post talking about various additions to Alpha 3.17 that you might not know about in regards to FPS weapon updates, turrets, desync, as well as the air traffic control, player entry, and survival changes. So, let's jump into what Cloud Imperium have said. FPS weapon refactor. This is part of the ongoing refactor to make procedural animations appear more natural when holding weapons in FPS view. For Alpha 3.17, we've adjusted the weapon sway and recoil values across a wide range of rifles, SMGs, shotguns, and sniper rifles. Now your character will move their hands and weapons in a more aesthetically pleasing way, providing some of the weight and movement you expect from Star Citizen's weapon trajectory. Along with this, we've also updated some weapon recoil and behaviours, so you can expect some of the guns to feel a lot heavier and punchier, while some will behave entirely differently than before. For example, the Gallant rifle is now a deadly 3-round burst rifle with an optional 5-round burst with longer shot downtime. This is all very good news, in my opinion. Cloud Imperium have needed to have a bit of a weapon refactor, especially from the FPS point of view, for a while now. Getting animations in a bit of a better state, tweaking some of these weapons so they perform better, or are more unique, or a bit more interesting. I think there were a lot of issues with Star Citizen's weapons feeling a bit samey, or there being just best weapons for a particular role, full stop. Hopefully now we'll see a bit more variety from what players pick for different scenarios. Let's move on to turret acceleration. We've introduced more realistic acceleration to turret movement. Turrets now don't instantly reach max speed based on current input, deflection, but accelerate towards it. This is very much something that players will need to try in their hands. You're going to need to try this for the different ships that have turrets to see how it's affected them. Is it a massive nerf? Is it making turrets bad again? I didn't like the changes that they had made previously to the Redeemer, making its turrets slower, basically. So I'm not sure how this one's going to be received, nor if this one's going to be a good one, but again, try it, talk about the different ships, how that's been affected, how their turrets have been affected. Ship positional desync. In Alpha 3.17, we added a networking update to reduce ship-to-ship desync. We found that ships were desynchronizing, so we made changes to reduce the networking time delay so that ships are synced closer to the correct moment in time, which should reduce a lot of visible desync issues. Compared to 3.16, you should feel as though the facing direction and position of other players' ships are much more accurate. Now, Cloud Imperium have talked very briefly about this sort of tweak and update previously. Now, it appears to me that for a large portion of players, during some of the tests, this has been absolutely fantastic. They did say that there might be some problems with jitter, especially at very fast speeds, but Cloud Imperium need to strike a balance between desync and prediction and hit reg and smooth movement. I think this is going to be a really great little short-term band-aid fix that should improve the game for a lot of people, but we'll have to wait and see how it actually translates into a live build. There are often problems with networking stuff when Cloud Imperium have tried to improve it or tweak it. But we are moving into a stage now where Cloud Imperium are working on getting out persistent streaming tech, server meshing, and more important network updates. So this is obviously steps towards that and improvements. Air traffic control, ATC landing. So we've added a key binding option to request ATC landing, which currently is unbound by default, but you can set it to whatever you want. But you can basically assign a key by going in options, key bindings, and then on the advanced controls customization at the bottom left in the flight movement tab, you'll find request landing. I recommend that everyone sets that to something because that's very useful to just go air traffic control, beep, and then call. Apparently you will call the closest ATC to you, assuming you're in range of any. That's a very minor thing, but it's a very minor thing that will save a lot of man hours over the sort of Star Citizen gameplay experience. Like, quite genuinely, it's something that you have to fiddle around with a little bit. Maybe Cloud Imperium originally wanted you to fiddle around and it'd be quite a tactile experience to find ATC in your sort of menus, but it's a bit silly to do that way. So yeah, give us a hotkey for it. Great. Player injury polish pass has been talked about too. We overhauled the injury system to increase the likelihood of injuries occurring during repeated combat encounters, but also decrease the chance of instant death. There is now a scaling percentage chance of triggering early injuries when you take damage to a body part. This is assessed each time the body part receives additional wear or damage and has a short cooldown between triggers to prevent it occurring too frequently. That's really good to hear. It's very interesting to see them go that route. Obviously, I love the idea of less instant deaths, because then you're on the floor bleeding out. Great. That means a lot more medical gameplay can be done. A lot less sort of like, oh, I jumped a little too far and I'm dead. I'm instantly dead as well. Oh, but also, you're not going to get one shot insta-killed from sniper rifle. You might be shot and knocked on your ass, though. So sort of bear that in mind. The bleed actor state has been updated to be less severe as well. Previously, each body part would bleed individually and stack cumulative damage. Based on feedback, this was too severe. The bleeding state now prevents stacking, and its damage rate has been reduced. Bleed functionality will likely change again at a later date to be affected by injuries, but for now, this change better represents the intended experience. So, basically, you don't have to worry so much about the bleed effect killing you very quickly. Great. You'll have a bit more time to react and give yourself the necessary treatment. Perfect. Balance update for hunger and thirst rates. Hunger and thirst rates are now slightly more aggressive, taking a little less time to progress towards starvation and dehydration. Actions such as sprinting, jumping, punching, etc. also have a slight increased effect on hunger and thirst. This change moves us closer to the intended experience now that inventory storage and thus easier access to food and drink is available. I think it's an interesting one because I'm okay with light survival mechanics in Star Citizen. I think that they actually improve the experience to some degree. Is the rate at which you need to eat and drink prohibitive to your play in a way that is constantly sort of fiddly, or I'm just constantly running out of food every hour? Well, actually, no. I mean, Star Citizen does it quite well. It takes quite a long time for you to eat and drink. And yeah, if you've been in a hot environment while running, you're going to need to drink a lot more water. However, I do think the game does it pretty well. Now, there's certainly a bit of a balance going on here, and I think that will continue. There's going to be more player status updates in the future as well. So let's talk about those sort of changes once we've all been able to play with them a bit. So that was the patch watch post. Really interesting there because it goes into some of the details of more of the sort of minor features that we can see in 3.17, which all add up to quite an interesting patch. I'm really enjoying these sort of additional features that 3.17 is actually starting to accrue. I mean, and lots of patches have like lots of little bits like this additive that which you don't really talk about much, but it all adds to something that should make that 3.17 patch pretty damn great. For the rest of the week, let's talk about what's going on. Thursday, Cloud Imperium have a new Inside Star Citizen episode that comes out on YouTube. That welcomes the player experience team, but also has a sprint report. So player experience team, that's going to be talking a lot about quality of life and clickable buttons and sort of like improvement of your gameplay experience. So there might be some interesting stuff there. Sprint reports are always great. I think we can expect to see a lot of 3.17 and 3.18 patch cycle stuff there, as well as environment and pyro updates. Friday, Cloud Imperium are making good on their postponed Q&A from the EU gameplay team with Star Citizen Live at 4 PM on their Twitch, and that's 4 PM UTC. I am really looking forward to this episode, as it's likely going to have some pretty juicy information on a large array of gameplay mechanics that Cloud Imperium are working on, and Cloud Imperium have had a bit of a longer time to look through some questions, think of some answers, and maybe give us a little bit more rather than a little bit less. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen update today. I am really looking forward to 3.17 going to First Wave PTU. It is my birthday this weekend, though, so and I'm supposed to be going to a Hendu and Zin's birthday, all sort of at the same time. So we'll have to see what happens, and if there's any interesting disruptions to the channel, we'll see what we can do. I'll be taking my laptop and microphone with me, so I'll be able to do some updates on the fly or on the road. What do you think, though? Do you think we're going to see 3.17 First Wave PTU for this weekend? Are you excited to see positional desync fixes to ships? Are you excited or terrified by the idea of thirst and hunger updates? What's the first thing you're going to do when you're in 3.17? You're going to be selling stuff? You're going to be checking out that new river? Are you going to be messing around with all the little new minor things like testing out your FPS weapons and all that sort of jazz? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. I am French and sophisticated. I am also French and also sophisticated. Let us go on a date. Neither of these people are French or sophisticated. It was me doing a funny voice, as well as showing the horrors of dating online and what happens if you accidentally catfish yourself with 2 of your own accounts. But French people don't talk like that even. No one does. NordVPN can make you appear to be in France, but it doesn't make you French, as I've now found out. It can be used to improve security or give you more accessibility to the internet. I can watch all my favourite shows. Get yourself NordVPN today in the links below and maybe be a better version of yourself. Now that's shilling for you. Every month we have a Star Citizen ship giveaway, and March is no different. We have a Crusader Industries Mercury Star Runner. This multi-crew, multi-role, cargo and data running ship is my favourite ship in the game. It has loads of little smuggling holes. It's got a good amount of armament. It can do a little bit of everything in the game at the moment. To be in for a chance of winning it, just comment on any of my videos made during March. More details in the description below. Please consider liking, subscribing, and potentially even clicking that join button under my videos to help further support the channel. Share the videos around with your friends and family. You'll occasionally get exclusive videos, posts, and polls that help influence the channel, along with emotes and badges to show your support. It really does help. There's also a Patreon and direct donations tool for those inclined. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you have a great March 2022!